Hey guys, welcome to the Field of 68 YouTube channel. If you like what you see here, hit that subscribe button and you'll get more college basketball content just like this.
All right. So I mentioned earlier in the draft that it was pretty much a consensus 1, and then it's a consensus 3. Guys, I would go so far as to say it's a consensus top 8. I did a little prep on this. I pulled the most recent mock drafts from all you guys. Across the board, consistent, right? Everybody sort of agrees the best 8 players have just come off the board. Now here we are at 9. The Utah Jazz are on the clock, and Sam is making the pick. I feel like this could be a turning point in the draft. Sam, who are you going with?
Yeah, it's actually the last guy I have in this tier. I have a top 9 tier, basically, that group from 5 to 9. And the last guy is Taylor Hendricks for me. And I would take Taylor Hendricks here. I think that he fits Utah's style kind of across the board. This is a team that was completely willing to play 3 bigs, essentially, with Kelly Olynyk, Lauri Markkanen, and Walker Kessler later in the season. And I think that with Taylor Hendricks, you have a guy who files in almost perfectly as a 3-and-D player in the NBA from day one. He's a really sharp weak side rim protector. He's a great transition player. You can run him in ball screens to roll to the rim. You can run him in ball screens to pick and pop. You can spot him in the corner. You can run him off of some off-ball actions. I think that he really just fits exactly what the Utah Jazz are looking for as they look to continue to build out what could be an elite defensive unit moving forward with Walker Kessler and Lauri Markkanen providing that 7-foot size in the forward line.
Sam, let me ask you something real quick about Hendricks. What do you buy of him defensively? Do you think that he's someone that can eventually maybe guard 2s, maybe guard 1s? Like, let me phrase it like this. How versatile is he on that end of the floor?
Yeah, look, I don't know if he's going to be like the most switchable player in the NBA in terms of like 1s, right? But I think he can handle 2s pretty effectively right now, actually. I think he slides his feet really well, gets low. I think he's able to, he doesn't get low. He's actually pretty upright, but his lateral quickness is quite good. I think his hips are quite good as well. I don't think he's going to have any problem being able to guard 2s. 1s are a little bit tougher just because 1s in the NBA are incredibly talented. Like I wouldn't put him on an island with John Morant, but it's the help defense. He's such an incredible weak side rim protector, I think. I'm a big Taylor Hendricks fan.
I am too. And just kind of piggyback off that. So I think the way I look at like a switchable, stretch 4 like Hendricks is, can they defend and switch on like at least an average level? They don't need to be a lockdown guy at every position. And I think Hendricks, he's not going to be, real vulnerable with just about anybody. I mean, bring up John Morant, everybody's vulnerable if they're getting switched on to John
100%.
Morant, right? And and with Utah, it's interesting because they played a lot of big lineups. I do think they need to address their backcourt, but the good thing is they also have the 16th pick, and there's a big group of guards in that range. So, Sam, I think that was a great pick.
Do you guys view Taylor Hendricks as a high floor prospect, or is this more like boom bust potential?
I see high floor. I mean, to me, he's a very safe prospect. Everybody loves the 3-and-D archetype. And I think the question is really upside. Like, how much off the dribble stuff is he going to develop? I mean, so much of his offense was catch and shoot or, dunker spot stuff. You really didn't see him put the ball on the floor down much. And so I think you're buying the 3s and you're buying the defense, and that's enough to say he could be a starter in the NBA.
16th pick on the clock for the Utah Jazz. We're going back to Sam.
All right, I'm going to take the home run swing. I'm going to take Bilal Coulibaly, currently playing for Metropolitans 92 in France. He is fascinating. If you watch some of his youth tape in the Espoirs League, if you watch some of his tape when he played Bronny James earlier on the European trip that California team took earlier this season, you will see a guy that can like actually create with the ball in his hands a little bit. He's not the shake in terms of his handle. He doesn't really have that, but he's so long and so athletic that he can just kind of live in the paint out of ball screens in those settings against players his own age. Now you move him up playing for Metropolitans, where he is essentially playing more of a role for them as a defensive difference maker, a guy who comes in, provides energy, is active, aggressive. He really makes an impact there too. The big thing with me is I can't really figure out 2 parts of his game. First and foremost, the shooting. I think his shooting mechanics are okay. They're just a little bit stiff and wooden. It's very clear that he's a guy that went through a late growth spurt, and he's still growing into his body and his frame in terms of being able to develop getting power from that lower half. And I think that he's still kind of managing that side of it. As he continues to age, I think that'll smooth out and get a little bit better. The second piece of it is just his feel for the game. Even those moments, in the lower leagues, you don't see a ton of crazy passes. A lot of his reads are more of the preordained variety. It's more of a circumstance for me where I'm taking a bet on tools. He's 6'6" with a 7'2" wingspan, is powerful yet graceful as an athlete. And look, this is a swing. Like, you look at the numbers, they aren't ideal. For Metropolitans, he played a role very similar to the role that Isaac Okoro played this year for the Cleveland Cavaliers. But I'm willing to bet on the tools here in an organization with the Jazz that have a very strong developmental track record.
Yeah, I love it. And I in reality, I don't know if he gets the 16 in the draft. I think, Jonathan, you mentioned that I'm buying the tools. I mean, the physical tools are there. It seems like a late bloomer physically. Defensively has so much upside. And just, I think bare minimum, you're going to get a guy that's going to be a high level defender and finisher. Just how much can he add to that? The ball handling, I haven't seen much of that yet. And the shooting, as Sam mentioned, I think the mechanics are there. He's got to build on it.
Well, Dauster, what's your take?
On Bilal Coulibaly?
There you go.
Oh, I love it. Thank you, Sam.
Our partner for today's episode is Athletic Greens. I started taking AG1 during the college basketball season, and I loved the impact that it had on my energy levels. I'm a big coffee in the morning guy, but by the time that the afternoon would hit, I needed another boost. AG1 helped me tremendously, especially on those days when I didn't want to get up off the couch and go hit the gym. Their tagline is AG1 is comprehensive health and the power of habit in one. And man, that could not be more true. It's nearly impossible to eat and drink in a healthy manner in the month of February and the month of March when you are in my business. And AG1 was exactly the supplement that I needed to improve my gut health and cover my nutritional basis for the day. I've continued that into April. I've continued that into May, and I'm going to continue that the rest of the summer. All I have to do is mix a scoop of AG1 with some water or maybe add it into a smoothie, and I'm ready to go. Do it after lunch, and you'll be ready to go for the rest of the day. If a comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine, then Athletic Greens is giving you a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. Go to athleticgreens.com/field68. That's field 68 FIELD, the number 6, the number 8, and you can get yours now. So check it out and help support this show. Thanks.
Sam, right back to you at 28 for the Utah Jazz.
Yeah, so I will say this. So throughout the process, I've been a little bit lower on Jett Howard. Jett Howard has not been taken yet, right?
Correct.
So I've been a little bit lower on Jett Howard. I think this is like a no-brainer here at 28, 27, wherever we're at. I think 28. Jett Howard is genuinely one of the best shooters in this draft class. He knocks down shots off of movement. Michigan ran all sorts of like fun, pistol actions, zoom actions where they're trying to like get him on the move. I thought that, frankly, Juwan Howard like really probably did a great job utilizing his son and making him situationally in a circumstance where they got the most out of him and he looked as good as possible. And I don't know how many teams will run those, similar triple handoff actions to get him the ball on the move and minimize that lack of first step or lack of burst that he can have from time to time. But the dude can shoot, man. That dude is a flamethrower from three. I know he shot like 37% from three. You go back through the high school numbers, it's like 40% year after year after year. He is going to knock down threes at a high level. I have very few concerns about that. Yeah, what John said earlier is absolutely right. Doesn't really impact the game right now as a passer, as a rebounder. His defense is quite poor, and I get it that Michigan was a little bit worse this year when he was on the court versus when he was off the court. But I just kind of can't pass on a guy that I think is a teenager that is one of the best shooters in this draft class already. It's just kind of an easy box to tick for me.
Yeah, it's perfect for Utah. Perfect for Utah because, honestly, they're going to want to lose again next year. You bring in a guy that, again, will get playing time. He'll get better, and then Danny Ainge will probably flip him in a couple of years.
You're going to bring in a guy that helps you lose. That's what you want. God. Just say it, Goodman. Just say it. Don't hide behind it.
So that's back-to-back picks, right? Back-to-back picks where essentially, to summarize, to plagiarize you two, you said they're buckets, Sensabaugh and Howard. They don't do anything else. I want to go rapid fire to Jeff, Rob, and Matt. Of those two guys, who are you more confident sticks in the NBA 10 years from now? Let's go to Jeff first and then just round robin it.
I mean, I think it depends on where they go as much as anything. I think both of them need good structured environments that bring them along. But I'll say if everything's equal, I'll go with Jett. Screw you, Dagan.
Rob?
I'm going sensible. I just think he's such a ridiculous athlete that he'll be able to figure it out defensively.
Matt?
Yeah, I'll go with sensible. The big thing for me with him is his body. You know, even though he does use his big frame to create separation, I mean, he's got a lot of his bag is from an offensive package. I mean, really, even though he's built like an undersized forward, he plays like a 2-guard. But I am a little concerned with how heavy he is at his age. Is that going to be a concern? But if he addresses that, I think he's going to be in the league for a long time.
Thank you for watching the Field of 68. If you've enjoyed what you've seen here, hit that like button, share this link with your friends, or check out the description for some other places that you can consume Field of 68 content.